Welcome back to GraveyardDance.com. Today we are going to talk about something that quite frankly spooks us here a bit. That is the subject of ancient witches and witchcraft. You may wonder why anyone who delves deep into the darker subject matter that we do would be afraid of a little Wicca, and that would be a great question. Frankly, it's not the Wicca that worries us. It's the person practicing it and what their motives and intentions are. If they like you, you could be set for life if they place a protection spell on you or hook you up with a love spell for your favorite person. Get on their bad side though, and they could place an itchy butthole curse on you for life. Yikes. I don't think I'd want to be grabbing at my butt in Walmart anytime soon, so I stay far away from most of these folks. Notice I said most. I do have a few close Wicca friends who I have known for many years. One my whole life almost. Hi Al, hi Candy, and hey Paula. Love y'all. Don't put any itchy butthole curses on me if I forget your birthday. 'Kay? With all that out of the way, go grab your favorite drink and some tacos and enjoy the video. If you enjoy our stuff, please help us out by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. If you share us on social media, we'll be your friend for life too. The concept of witches has been prevalent throughout history, with various cultures attributing mystical powers and often associating them with malevolence. While the perception of witches has evolved over time, some individuals have been labeled as real-life witches, often due to their unconventional beliefs or practices. In this video, we'll delve into the lives of several historical figures who were considered witches, exploring what made them both fascinating and terrifying to their contemporaries. One of the earliest recorded instances of accusations against a witch is that of Agnes Waterhouse in 1566 England. Also known as Mother Waterhouse, was one of the first women to be executed for witchcraft in England during the Tudor period. She lived in the village of Hatfield, Peveril in Essex, and was a widow with at least 2 children at the time of her trial. Little is known about her early life or how she became associated with witchcraft. However, she was accused of practicing black magic and causing harm to her neighbors through supernatural means. In 1566, Agnes Waterhouse was brought to trial on charges of witchcraft, along with her daughter Joan and another woman named Elizabeth Frances. The accusations against her included causing the death of a local farmer's servant boy, making livestock sick, and causing other misfortunes in the village. At the trial, Agnes confessed to owning a familiar spirit named Satan in the form of a cat, which she used to carry out her witchcraft. She also admitted to renouncing her baptism and giving herself to the devil. Despite her confession, Agnes maintained that she had never intended to harm anyone with her magic. The trial was presided over by Sir John Fortescue, who was known for his harsh treatment of those accused of witchcraft. After hearing testimony from several witnesses, including Agnes's own daughter, he found Agnes guilty of witchcraft and sentenced her to death. On July 29, 1566, Agnes Waterhouse was hanged at Chelmsford. Her daughter Joan and Elizabeth Frances were also found guilty of witchcraft and sentenced to death, but their executions were delayed until later that year. Agnes Waterhouse's trial and execution marked a turning point in the history of witchcraft in England. It was one of the first major cases of its kind and helped to establish the legal framework for subsequent trials. The accusations against Agnes and her associates were based on a combination of folklore, rumor, and personal testimony, and reflected the deep-seated fears and prejudices of the time. Despite her conviction and execution, Agnes Waterhouse remains a controversial figure in English history, with some seeing her as a victim of hysteria and prejudice, while others view her as a genuine practitioner of dark magic. Then we have the lovely ladies and a few dudes from the Salem witch trials. This was truly a sad and unfortunate situation caused by radical fear and extreme religious extremism. Don't get us wrong, religion in itself isn't bad. Everyone should be able to believe however they want, but sometimes, as in this particular case, it was simply taken too far. The Salem witch trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 and May 1693. The trials were fueled by a combination of religious, social, and political factors. One major cause was the prevailing belief in the existence of witches and the devil in Puritan society. The strict and conservative Puritan lifestyle led to a fear of the unknown and a strong belief in supernatural forces. Additionally, tensions within the community, such as land disputes, power struggles, and long-standing feuds, created a fertile ground for accusations of witchcraft to arise as a way to settle personal vendettas. During the Salem witch trials, 20 people were executed after being convicted of witchcraft. 14 women and 6 men were hanged, while several others died in jail awaiting trial or execution. Among the most well-known victims were Bridget Bishop, Sarah Good, Rebecca Nurse, and Giles Corey. These individuals faced accusations based on spectral evidence and testimonies from witnesses who claimed to have seen them engaging in witchcraft or consorting with the devil. The Salem witch trials left a lasting impact on American history and culture. Following the trials, there was a growing realization of the injustice and hysteria that had taken place. In 1711, the Massachusetts colonial government officially declared the trials unlawful, and in 1957, the state formally apologized for the events of 1692. The trials also led to changes in legal procedures to prevent similar miscarriages of justice in the future. The legacy of the Salem witch trials serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of mass hysteria, intolerance, and the importance of due process in legal proceedings. In the realm of folklore and legend, Baba Yaga stands out as a fearsome witch from Slavic mythology. Baba Yaga is a prominent figure in Slavic folklore, known as a supernatural being or witch who often takes the form of an old, haggard woman. She is typically depicted as living deep in the forest in a hut that stands on chicken legs, surrounded by a fence made of human bones. That really isn't so scary. I know another famous entertainer who is also famous for her chicken legs. Anywho, moving on, Baba Yaga is feared for her unpredictable and often malevolent nature. She is said to possess great wisdom and knowledge of magic, but is also known to be capricious and dangerous, sometimes helping those who seek her out but more often punishing or devouring those who cross her path without caution. In Slavic folklore, there are various tales about Baba Yaga, and her fate differs depending on the story. Some legends suggest that she continues to live in her hut in the forest, forever elusive and enigmatic. Other stories depict her meeting her demise at the hands of brave heroes who outwit or overpower her. Despite her fearsome reputation, Baba Yaga is sometimes portrayed as a complex character with shades of gray, capable of both cruelty and kindness. Her ambiguous nature adds to the enduring mystique surrounding her character. A more recent figure in history is the self-proclaimed Witch of King's Cross, Rosalie Norton. Rosalie Norton, often referred to as the Witch of King's Cross, was an Australian occultist and artist who gained notoriety in the mid-20th century for her controversial beliefs and practices. Born in 1917, Norton was a self-proclaimed witch who delved into various esoteric traditions, including ceremonial magic, thelema, and paganism. She was known for her bold and provocative artwork that often depicted themes of mysticism, sexuality, and the supernatural. Norton's unconventional lifestyle and defiance of societal norms made her a polarizing figure in Australian society during her lifetime. Controversial life and legal troubles. Throughout her life, Rosalie Norton faced significant backlash from mainstream society due to her unorthodox beliefs and practices. In 1955, she was charged with obscenity for her artworks and writings, which were deemed offensive and indecent by the authorities. Norton's trial became a sensationalized affair that further fueled public interest in her work and beliefs. Despite the legal challenges she encountered, Norton remained steadfast in her dedication to exploring the occult and pushing boundaries through her art. Legacy and influence. Despite facing adversity during her lifetime, Rosalie Norton's legacy endures as a pioneering figure in Australia's occult and artistic communities. Her bold exploration of taboo subjects and fearless embrace of alternative spirituality continue to inspire contemporary artists and practitioners of the occult. Norton's unique blend of artistry and mysticism has solidified her reputation as a trailblazer who challenged societal norms and paved the way for future generations of creatives to express themselves freely. In the 17th century, another notorious figure emerged in the form of the Pendle witches in Lancashire, England. The Pendle Witches were a group of individuals who were accused and ultimately executed for witchcraft in England during the 17th century. The majority of the accusations and trials took place in the year 1612, and the events surrounding this case have gone down in history as one of the most famous witch trials in English folklore. The Pendle Witches hailed from the area surrounding Pendle Hill, which is located in Lancashire, England. The Pendle Witches were primarily made up of two different families, the Demdikes and the Chattexes. These two families had a long-standing feud, and it was this animosity that ultimately led to the accusations of witchcraft. The Demdikes were a family of beggars who were known to have dabbled in the dark arts, while the Chattexes were a family of healers who were also rumored to possess supernatural powers. The accusations against the Pendle Witches began when a peddler named John Law bypassed the Chattex family's home, instead choosing to sell his goods to the Demdikes. In retaliation, the Chattex family placed a curse on Law, which they claimed resulted in his death shortly thereafter. This accusation of witchcraft led to a wider investigation into the activities of both the Demdikes and the Chattexes. During the course of this investigation, several other individuals came forward with their own stories of being bewitched by the Pendle Witches. One of the most notable of these accusers was a young girl named Alison Device, who claimed that her grandmother, Elizabeth Southerns, also known as Old Demdike, had bewitched her and forced her to commit various acts of theft. Southerns, along with several other members of the Demdike and Chattex families, was ultimately arrested and brought to trial. The trials of the Pendle Witches took place at Lancaster Assizes, and they were overseen by Judge Edward Bromley. During the course of the trials, several of the accused witches confessed to their crimes, while others maintained their innocence. Ultimately, 11 of the accused witches were found guilty and sentenced to death, while 2 others were acquitted. The Pendle Witches have gone down in history as some of the most infamous accused witches in English folklore. Their trials and executions served as a reminder of the dangers of superstition and ignorance, and they helped to shape public opinion regarding witchcraft in England. Today, the legacy of the Pendle Witches continues to be felt in Lancashire, where numerous tours and exhibitions are dedicated to their memory. The area surrounding Pendle Hill is also home to several sites that are said to be haunted by the spirits of the executed witches, adding to their enduring mystique and allure. The 16th century Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory, often referred to as the Blood Countess, is a historical figure whose actions have been shrouded in myth and horror. Accused of torturing and murdering numerous young women, Bathory's alleged blood rituals and sadistic practices earned her a reputation as one of history's most terrifying figures. Was it true though? Many believed the legend and the hype, while others believed she was framed. Framed up would be a better word, as she was allegedly framed up into her room, brick by brick, and left to die as a result of her crimes. If the stories were true, I can't say I feel sorry for her. She gave witches a bad name for sure. In more recent times, Doreen Valiente played a pivotal role in the modern witchcraft movement, particularly in the development of Wicca. As a prominent figure in the 20th century revival of witchcraft, Valiente's contributions to the crafting of rituals and the popularization of Wiccan practices made her a respected and influential witch. The witch who freaks us all out here at GraveyardDance.com is the one who befriended a man named Christopher Case in the early 90s. We've already done a whole video on that, so we won't delve too far into that as to not spoil the surprise when you head over to that video, which we'll link at the end of this one. Sorry for the bad video quality of that one, but we were just getting started back then, so don't be too awfully hard on us. Anywho, the long and short of that story was, she became infatuated at him after meeting him at a party. The more she came on to him, the more he refused, and there's nothing more terrifying than a witch scorned, as he soon sadly found out. To protect yourself from situations like that, it may be a great idea to get the Witchcraft Secret Manual. You never know, this may have been the book that unleashed the hoodoo on poor Christopher. Whether it's casting spells or protecting yourself from them, there's a few left which you can get on the Graveyard Dance main page. Just click on the banner. For a short time only, they are on sale for the low price of $38. Get yours while supplies last. Moving on. Is there any witches who truly scare the bejesus out of you that we missed? We'd love to hear about them in the comments section below. The concept of witches has taken various forms throughout history, with individuals labeled as such for reasons ranging from cultural differences and unconventional beliefs to heinous crimes. The stories of these real-life witches have left an indelible mark on history, contributing to the enduring fascination and fear associated with witchcraft. Whether rooted in folklore, mythology, or historical accounts, these figures have become iconic representations of the complex and often frightening nature of the witch archetype. We hope you liked today's content and enjoyed it enough to subscribe. Every once in a while, we pick a random subscriber who comments and they win goodies given to us from sponsors for Graveyard Dance. Our last winner won a t-shirt and the one before that won a hand-carved Ouija board. Creepy. Anywho, I'm gonna call it a night and sign off. Thanks for watching, everyone. We truly appreciate each and all of you. Till next time.